Hello, morning everyone. Now, broadly speaking, we are going to talk about few things, benefits by showing a lot of demos, very common concerns, questions we'll address, and of course, best practices. Now, you may be wondering, what is this title about? Usually, when we talk about Copilot session, we are talking about using Copilot fully. I'm not really worried about that. You will understand what I mean by this title by the end of the session. Copilot, there are two flavors. First, let's clarify that. Many customers think that there is Copilot, which is the Microsoft one, and behind the scenes it uses ChatGPT. So two flavors. No, three flavors. Copilot itself is an overloaded term, and there are at least two connotations in the context of today's session. So the first one is the paid version of Copilot, and the second is the free version of Copilot. And the third one is the ChatGPT, where also you have free and paid. We are not going to talk and demonstrate ChatGPT today because the focus is on Copilot. But I am going to show you both Copilots, the free one and the paid one. Currently, there is a misconception that if I don't have the paid one, I'll use free one. Once I have the paid one, I will not use the free one. That's not correct. Both have to be used together. They are complementary, not competing with each other. So first of all, let's see where is this Copilot. All of you probably already have Microsoft 365, but you need additional license for Copilot. One of the commonest questions is there a trial? So there is no trial for the paid version, commercial version. There is a trial called Copilot Pro Plus in personal edition. So if you have office.com or you have a personal email ID, the entry points for Copilot. So if you go to office.com, you will see Microsoft 365 and you should see Copilot here. This is the Copilot chat. And most people will have used it if you already have Copilot. Even if you don't have Copilot, I will tell you how to go about utilizing it, although there is no trial. But if you have Copilot, this is one very commonly used entry point. But while I am on this page, let me highlight the importance of another feature on this page, which is absolutely not known to people, but it's very powerful. And that is the humble search. If I search here, you can't believe where all it searches. So I just search for Copilot. It's going through all my files, all my SharePoint sites, global address list, SharePoint news, intranet, messages means chat, email, channels, meetings, and three more, which are images with metadata, videos with transcripts, and Power BI reports. So this is the most comprehensive search you have in Microsoft 365. So stop doing the traditional search, start using this. I hope nobody will ask me what happens to local files, because if you're using Office 365 appropriately, you should not have local only files by now. You should have all files which are synced either to OneDrive or Teams or SharePoint, in which case they will be accessible and searchable from here. If you do have local files for whatever reason, I still recommend that you should move that to cloud. Then there is an Office 365 app. If you install that on the local desktop, then it will do all this plus local files as well. Anyway, now why is it important to know this search can access all data which you have access to? Because that's the exact access Copilot has. So Copilot is all data accessible to you. And one related question. This question comes from IT team, leadership, security, compliance, saying, if I put Copilot, what do I have to do for security? Extra, just for Copilot. So what is the concern? Copilot is smart, right? And Copilot can be misused. That is the concern. Many people have that concern. So idea is very simple. As IT or compliance or privacy team, you have already set the policies. You already set which user can see or not see which part of the infrastructure, data, emails, public mailboxes, whatever it is. So Copilot is just an application which is logged in as you. So whatever data access you have, Copilot has. Copilot doesn't have more or less access than you as a person. So because of this, from a data access point of view, there's no extra security to be said because Copilot has come. Having said that, because Copilot has come, analyzing files, summarizing large number of things has become easier. So can I ask Copilot saying, give me all the confidential files from my organization? Copilot will give you, but it is only those confidential files to which you have access. So in that sense, there is no overexposure. But because we have never had this kind of comprehensive ability before, many users have got extra access than they actually should from a business point of view. So this may be a good time to do an access audit. But per se, for Copilot, there is no extra security thing required. All right, so this is the chat. But before we go ahead with the chat, let me show you that this is just one of the entry points. There are many other places where Copilot is available. And everything which I'm showing, there are a lot of videos. I will be, Shesham, my colleague is there. She'll be putting links to relevant videos as we speak. So Copilot is available in these many places. What we just talked about is this. Yes, some of the slides are actually really useful. So if you want, you can take a screenshot. If you're on a PC, snip tool is best. I hope you know the shortcut Shift Windows S for snip. All right, so I'm not probably going to have time to go through all of them, but I will touch upon all of them. It's important to understand that Copilot is not just chat and Outlook and Word Excel. There are so many other places where it is, and new items are continuously getting added. New features are being added, new integration capabilities are being added, and Copilot is surfacing itself or infused in more and more apps as we speak. So many people don't know that there is a public listing of what is the development plan for Copilot. Because if you have clarity, then you can plan better. So where do you go? Search for Microsoft Roadmap. In Microsoft Roadmap, you'll see lots of things which are going on. So this is across products. 660 plus things are under development, new features or whatever. These are rolling out. These are recently launched. So here, if you search for Copilot, 91 are new things happening, 14 are new things which are ready and being rolled out, and 46 have recently been launched. So now you can click on either of them, and then you will see what are the new things coming. It's very important to monitor this. Maybe not for every user, but definitely by IT team, definitely by the people who are called champions or ambassadors or those who are responsible for learning this and then disseminating that knowledge internally in the organization. If you are heavy on Microsoft, anyway, this is a good site to monitor at least on a weekly basis. All right, so we will go and start with chat. One of the commonest places, one of the commonest use cases is summarization of email, which I'm sure all of you have already figured out. So I can say summarize my, I don't usually say email because Teams chat is also integral part of it. You also communicate using meetings. Summarize my communication this week about Copilot, whatever. Now, communication means it is going to look at all aspects. And now, recently, this plus sign was added. Earlier, it was just an the attachment icon, but I'm sure all of you know that you can now have, or we have always had forward slash. And here there is a list of files. This list is being populated from MRU, means most recently used files which you have recently opened in short. So if I search for a file and I don't find it, don't get disheartened. I'll tell you what to do about it. So I'm going to ask it to search for or summarize another file later. So I get references to each of these items. And then if I click on them, it will open in the relevant app and I can act on it. So what is this? This is time saving. Yes. This is not just time saving actually. Many people are counting time saving, which should be counted, quantified. But more important part of time, this is the intangible benefit. Even if I had a lot of time, I would still use this because I can use that time for something else. And from purely communication point of view, this is not just giving you chronological list of things. If there is a first mail, seventh mail, and 13th mail, which are related to each other, it has combined that. It may not be obvious, but when you try it out, you will start realizing that it is not just time saving. The effectiveness of your communication will increase. And because of that, uh, you can utilize that time to form better action items or utilize that time in a completely different activity. So time saving plus other value added benefits. So when you want to do something else, I was writing, summarize another file. What I did later, I clicked on new chat. Very important. When the topic, thought, context changes in your mind, Copilot has to be told that the context has changed. And the way to do that is new chat. So now I'm going to say summarize. Otherwise, it will unnecessarily mix contexts. This is a very large 130-page PDF file. And give me, let's say, 10 actionable. Now, if you think about this, okay, it is obviously going to do it. You don't have to copy paste, and that's the benefit compared to ChatGPT. Because here, this 2000 is only for my prompt, not the characters in the PDF. PDF is large. How does a Microsoft manage? Don't worry, it manages. So this is not the best prompt available. 10 action items is a good thing, but 10 action items for whom? So very important conscious understanding we should have. And that brings me to another common concern or question. I am from this industry, I'm from this role, I am expert in a particular field. Typically, a person is expert in one, two, or maybe five, six fields, polymaths. But everyone has a concern. Is Copilot going to understand my domain, my knowledge area, my field, my industry? So don't have that concern. Because what is Copilot behind the scenes? It is ChatGPT. What has ChatGPT done and is doing as we speak? It imbibes all the publicly available content. And because of that, what happens? There is no topic which it doesn't understand. Understand not as a human, but from a technical point of view, also it has that data and the ability to figure it out. So don't have the doubt whether my field or subject or topic will be understood by Copilot or ChatGPT. Now, the missing piece here is who am I? Right? This question could have been asked by the person who is a student who is just doing some MBA and doing research. This could have been asked by someone who is in cybersecurity. This can be asked by someone who is in IT infrastructure or compliance or privacy or legal. So although it is capable of giving you 10 actionable items, it is guessing 10 actionable items from whose point of view. So give a more contextual detail there, whatever. So this makes it more specific, and of course, you'll get results. Now, before I click OK, let me just explain this. Right now, I referred to one file. Up to 5 files can be referred here. Now, individual products have individual capacities. What do I mean by that? In the chat, you can refer to up to 5 files. In Word, you can refer to 3 files. In Excel, you cannot refer to files as of now. PowerPoint, 1 file. Outlook, no file. Like that, each product has its own rules and regulations, idiosyncrasies. And the way I see it, these are current sort of restrictions or limitations. As things progress, those will be lifted. At least I hope so. So coming back, we will ask this. Now, one of the other problems people have, which I'm sure you have got frustrated because of, is I confidently say slash. Yes, I can see all files, people, files, meetings, emails, very good. But when I actually type a name, that file doesn't appear. I know the file is there. It's frustrating. So why is it not there? Because you have not opened the file recently. So just go to the file, open it, and then try it. It should work. If that also doesn't work, because you opening the file, the MRU list getting updated, and then the Copilot system understanding it will take some finite amount of time, a minute maybe sometimes longer. We can't control that. So if still you can't find the file, what do? You know where the file is, so go there. And then what do? Right click on it, click on share. Follow this very precisely. Go to the wheel. In the wheel, click on people with existing access. Who are those people? I don't care. I can see the file, so I am one of the persons. Then say apply. Now it will generate the correct link. And now it will say link copied. And then you can paste the link here as a part of the reference. So I put forward slash, nothing is happening, paste. This works. So this is how you can refer to up to 5 files. This is not yet fully multimodal. So audio and pictures are not here yet. And why not? If Microsoft can implement it in the public version of Copilot, why can't they implement it in the paid version of Copilot? That's again a common question. Reason is when you have corporate context, you have defined security, compliance, privacy policies based on your industry, based on your location, based on the country you are in. And there are lots of those norms to be followed. So doing that for text is easier. That's why everything is currently like this. Doing that for audio and images has many more things to be taken care of. So it's taking longer. But if you want images analysis as well as generation, you can use the public version of Copilot. I will show you that later. So let's do this. Now it is going to understand the context better and give me more specific results. So this is something I'm sure many of you have tried. Now this is inside my organization. So this M365 Copilot primarily is focused on my data, my business context. But sometimes it does need to go and look at web outside. So by default, it will not go and search on the web unless you click on the plugin and enable web content. Now, this is not a toggle which we keep on or off lifelong. It depends on what you are doing and what you intend to get. What are the sources you are looking for? So if you want to force it to look inward only, then keep it off for that particular prompt or that activity. In some cases, you want it to look outside, in which case enable it. So this enable disable is not a one-time setting, it's contextual. Anyway, it has given me amazing stuff, and then I can act on it. I hope all of you have already done this, but because I saw it, the most important thing is enable MFA. And if you already enabled MFA using password and OTP, that is already hacked. So the next level of MFA is passwordless. You should always enable that. Microsoft Authenticator, passwordless. That is safest. And if one step further, if you have passkey, that also gets integrated. So now face sign in on the PC or laptop will also work, or PIN as well. All right, so that was the summary part. Now, what did we learn from here? A lot of things. But one thing which many people miss is this. It looked at what I did, yes, and then what it did. It gave me the results based on my prompt, but now it understood the context a little more. And based on all that now, based on your prompt and the content of the document, it is now saying these are good prompts to look at. So it's actually injecting ideas in your mind saying, are we interested in any of these? So what am I saying? Do I have to click on all of them? No. What you have to do consciously is to notice them, read them at least, and think, is it relevant? So this is an example of how Copilot is teaching you how to use Copilot better. So just eyeball them, and it's a good thing. You will get more understanding of what Copilot is capable of. And next time you can utilize that knowledge. In fact, if you're new to Copilot, I would strongly suggest rather than randomly giving prompts and getting disappointed saying this didn't work, that didn't work, and then you don't know, is it a Copilot problem or is it a prompt problem? Because both are new to you. So best is to go to view prompts. It's just looking exercise in the sense it's a list of prompts and it is classified based on tasks. This is a very good thing to understand. Even if you don't even scroll those prompts, opening this drop down is important. It tells you broadly in whichever app you are currently in, what is Copilot capable of? Broadly, categories of capability. So catch up means what? Create means what? Ask means what? So catch up means there is a large pool of things, large collection, and across that we are catching up, like we do for emails or chats or recent meetings. Create is create. Now, give me a list of top 10 XYZ and ask where I give a context, like I give a file and ask something specific about it. So three broad categories. And just to compare and contrast this, I'm going to go to Word. And in Word, there is Copilot. In Word Copilot, we will do the same things. So I'll go to New tab, Copilot. Copilot is there in two places, here as well as here. So this book-like thing will always be there. Notice this says broadly, I can only do ask. We know we can create a new document. So why is it not listing it here? Because that happens from here. So look at it and then you will get a broad picture. Also recently as in I noticed it yesterday. So maybe very recent, 1 week, chat history, which people were asking for, is available on a per app basis now. All right. So coming back to our chat, either way, you go and look at the prompts it is suggesting. You don't have to click on them. You don't have to try them. Just eyeball them. And that is how you learn the capabilities or the extent to which Copilot can do things. Now, whatever is not listed there doesn't mean it cannot do. These are also indicative, but they're chosen in such a way that it covers a wide variety of capabilities. And that's important when any Gen AI and specifically Copilot is being learned. Because traditionally, we are used to software like this. We have lots of menus, lots of buttons. And if I want something, I know which button to click. I want pivot table, I click here. I want paste, I click here. I want red color, I click here. I want right align, I click here. This is how we learn and use the software, most of the software, not just Microsoft, for decades. But now what is happening? We have Copilot. This is thousands of features. Copilot is one feature, one text box. So again, earlier we had thousands of features. We didn't really look at them because with few clicks, our job was getting done. So we thought what I know is enough. What I don't know is useless. That's inefficiency, by the way. It is in your interest to explore each button and find out what is behind it. But in practical terms, we are not doing it. That is why we are inefficient in using Office. But at least we know each button has a purpose, correct? So even if you have chosen to ignore it, you are sure in your mind that when you click on a button, it does something, right? It's not a dummy button. So we have a wide variety to choose from. And capabilities are shown visually as entry points, buttons, right click menu, tools, options, like that. But here we have only one text box. That's it. So capability, I don't know how many. That is why viewing prompts is very important. So go to view prompts, eyeball them, and don't miss this one. See all prompts. Again, very important. Why? Because as I showed you, Copilot is available not just in chat, it's available in multiple apps. So it is in your interest to understand across all apps what can it do. So how do you do that? Again, it's a long list. This is called Copilot Lab. And don't eyeball here first. Look at the app list, right? You'll see only Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Oh, and this is a very common mistake people do. When they go to Copilot Lab, your sign in doesn't get transferred usually. That's what I've noticed. And then you're not signed in. So now see the difference. Earlier, I was not signed in. So it showed me some items and now I signed in. Now look at the list of apps. This is a common mistake done because of which people don't even know that is Copilot is available in all these apps. It's very sad. So much amazing stuff already there, but people are just going to look at four of them. Defeats the purpose. So this is a good start. And then also by task. Earlier we saw create, understand something. Now, broadly across all apps, these are the things. Now, if you are interested in one of them, just click on it and say what. So this is learn, means help me learn about any topic you can imagine, right? Topic is written there. So, and then the last one is also newly added, and this is good. So combination of these you can figure out when you are looking specifically for something. But here we are not come to specifically look for something. After having seen all those, I would say you just eyeball all of them, show more. You'll have 15 minutes required to show more, and then look at them. That will give you a good start. And then you can utilize whatever you do with Copilot with more confidence and more justification, more awareness of what is possible.
Can we restrict the access like some specific SharePoint page not accessible through Copilot?
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. Copilot has no security concern. You don't want a user to look at a web page. Do that at a user level, or ideally, you shouldn't do it at user level. Create a group and do it. Group also two types: SharePoint groups and AD groups. So AD groups better. Next,
Does this chat communicate with internet?
I showed you that already. If you enable that, it does.
So Copilot will not override the permissions assigned to the files either in SPO or OneDrive.
Never, nowhere.
When I go to my M365, I don't see the Copilot chat available. I think I missed what was said earlier about getting
Yeah,
access.
yeah,
I'll put in a link, yeah, for the
yeah. So,
access.
so Copilot means it is an additional license. So even if you have Office 365 or Business Standard, Business Premium, even E3, E5, whatever, Copilot is an additional license. So if you don't see Copilot button here in office.com with your corporate login, then that means you don't have the license. You need to procure it additionally. By the way, I'm not from Microsoft. I don't sell any software. I only make people more efficient. Yeah,
Can you
next.
elaborate on the Copilot admin panel? What control and settings can organizations set up for users having Copilot license, like policies or permissions based on Copilot access?
Yeah, so you can enable, broadly speaking, I'm not going to go into the admin aspects because there's a lot of usage related stuff I want to cover. I will send you a link along with the video link, which we share later. But broadly, it's just assigning the license and that's it. There's nothing specifically to be configured per se. From a usage point of view, there is a dashboard which you get in reports where you will see Copilot usage report as well. So, because Copilot is an investment and you would like to see people are using it well or not, that is the extra admin effort, I would say. But otherwise, most of the admin security configuration is more from the point of view of reassessing whether all the users have access to the correct data which they should be. So, access review. Next.
Is there a way we can check the restrictions written, like the type or number of files that can be attached as reference?
I have not really found a single comprehensive reference somewhere. In one of the videos, I have covered it, but it's a floating target. So you learn it. And whatever restrictions are there, I have already told you as of today. Maybe changing very soon. So to answer that question a little further, I know there are a lot of people from Microsoft also on this call. So if you know a reference where the restrictions or limitations on reference of files per product is listed and documented somewhere, do share the link with me. I'll also learn. Next.
While demonstrating, which one is better, desktop apps or web apps?
This is a generic question about Office apps. And actually, that can apply to Copilot also because Copilot is available on browser as well as mobile app. And Windows also has it integrated. So I'm going to answer it in the context of Office apps. So when you talk about Office, there are a lot of products. And Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneNote are available on desktop as well. All these are available on cloud, means browser also, not cloud, sorry, browser. And many of them available on mobile. So the question arises, most people usually use desktop because that's what we are used to. And many people have not even gone to Office browser and seen or understood that it is available as a part of what? As a part of Office 365. So the answer is, if you want full features, use the desktop version. If you have a large file and you just want to refer to one paragraph, change two numbers, look at a chart or pivot table, and it's taking too long to open on desktop, open that on browser. So browser is HTML. So irrespective of how big the file is, it'll open fast. In low bandwidth situations, browser is better. And from a feature perspective, new features are first added on browser because it's easier to deploy. Everyone gets the latest version instantly. So new features first on browser, when they stabilize, they come on desktop. So these are the reasons, differences between the two. So based on the situation, you decide in this context for this file right now, is browser better or desktop better? So one of the commonest questions asked is the variations in Copilot. So now that we have seen the chat, the other thing to understand is whenever you are working on a browser-based Microsoft product, highly recommended use Edge browser. It's not about personal preference. It is about utilizing the integration and the performance gains you get by using Microsoft on Edge, because Microsoft wrote Edge, Microsoft wrote Office 365 Copilot. So the integration is much better. That's number one. Second, from a security compliance point of view, also is much more manageable centrally. And third, Copilot gives you this button on the right side. This is the public version of Copilot. So this Copilot has two flavors to it. It opens on a pane like this, or you can just go to a new tab and say copilot.microsoft.com, and it also opens here. All right. So these are essentially the same. The difference is this opens as a pane, a separate window on the right side. What is the benefit of that? Here, you could have some other page. So I'm just going to go to a random web page and let's see what it says. So let's go to GenAI Wikipedia page. Now, this pane is active. And now I can ask it to summarize. Now, sometimes you just say summarize and it doesn't summarize. That's very frustrating. So very important thing missed here in this pane is three dots. Three dots are very important always, as you know. Three dots, right click, more, advanced. All these buttons means more benefits. So go there. Here, automatically open sidebar. That's up to you. Show Copilot, absolutely useful. And allow Copilot to read context clues. That is what it means, the web page which is open. Shopping notifications, you decide. So now it has done this job. Another common thing which is not known, if on the left side web page, if there is a video, it could be stream video, it could be YouTube, it could be Vimeo, it could be anything. As long as there is a transcript, it will summarize long videos as well. That's a very good use case. So that's the public version of Copilot. Now, for now, I want to show you more details about this public version also. So I'm going to close this pane and I'm going to go to the full set, copilot.microsoft.com. Now, because I have logged in using my corporate email ID, I get two things here, web and work. If you have logged in using personal email ID or you're not signed in at all, you will not see this. You are essentially getting the public version only. So this switching allows me to change the context between internal focused, business focused versus external. And then before you do anything with this web version, notice this is multimodal. So it will understand images, attachments also, but it has no access to your data. You'll have to put a file there. And it understands audio input as well. Important thing is to check which login you have done and have you done the login, corporate login, Office 365, AD, Entra, whatever. And then you will see this button, commercial data protection. That's very important. Now, many companies I see have generally randomly blocked any kind of GenAI. That's counterproductive because yes, maybe you don't have Copilot paid version, but still you would want people to utilize and benefit from GenAI. But because there is security risk of data being leaked and used for training the LLMs, many IT teams have blocked Gen AI access. Now, from a security point of view, that may be justified, but the benefit of Gen AI, even the free version, or your users are not going to get. So, what do you think they are going to do? They are going to bypass IT and go to random websites, log in, and still somehow use Gen AI. It's the same thing which happens when you block external sharing. If there is a large file to be shared, IT has blocked external sharing. So people go to random websites which allow you to upload larger files, and many of them are phishing and dangerous sites. Same thing, shadow IT will happen. So the correct way of giving benefit of Gen AI to every user with no Copilot purchase as of now, in a secure way, is to use this version of Copilot, web version. This is accessible to all users and you can control it centrally. So this gives you access to Copilot, but this has no access to your data. Yes, you can copy paste the data here, but then you could do that in ChatGPT also. The difference is if you copy paste data here, which is a public version of Copilot with commercial data protection, or the work version, which anyway has full access to your data is safe. So how am I so confident that your data is safe? So that's what is called commercial data protection. The data is not encrypted, chat is not saved, it is not used for AI training. In either case, whether paid or unpaid Copilot with commercial data protection, nothing is used for training. User identity and domain identity is removed. So, and of course, you will not get ads. That by now you have understood. All the documentation says sometimes you get ads, but I have never seen an ad as a result of this. But one thing, by the way, this QR code is about details about what commercial data protection actually means. I'm going to paste the link here. And then one thing is not mentioned here in my slide. Why? Because I wanted to explicitly mention that. Because people are saying, okay, commercial data protection, chat not saved, all that I understand. But finally, what I copy pasted is going to get converted into a more sanitized prompt and still go to ChatGPT. Now it went to OpenAI. Where is the data privacy? Very good question. If you have not thought of that, now put that question to yourself. So that is one important thing you should know. So what I'm now talking about is web version of Copilot, which is the public one with corporate login, or the work version of Copilot. Both use ChatGPT, right? LLM ChatGPT. So you give a prompt, it looks at it from a security point of view, responsible AI point of view, refines the prompt, sends it to the ChatGPT engine, gets the response, sanitizes it, and then gives it back, broadly. But which LLM? ChatGPT, right? Who wants ChatGPT? OpenAI. So finally, my data went there. So this is the important thing. When you say Microsoft 365 Copilot, or even the public version of Copilot, it is not going to OpenAI's ChatGPT. Microsoft has a separate, private, secure copy of the entire ChatGPT app or system or whatever you want to call it, which has nothing to do with OpenAI. Of course, it is governed by OpenAI in the sense they create the code, they create the LLM, and Microsoft creates a private instance of it in its own infrastructure. And that is why your data is never going to be used for training. It will not be saved. And whatever promises Microsoft gives, Microsoft can stick to those promises because that data is in Microsoft infrastructure. And that also brings us to security compliance. All the policies which you have configured on M365 will be followed, guaranteed, because even the LLM is in the same boundary from a geolocation point of view as well. So that is why if you want to discourage misuse of ChatGPT or any other public Gen AI, which is a genuine concern, encourage people to have this. Now, if you have Copilot paid version, you will see both tabs, but you will say, if there is paid version, why should I go to free version? As we go along, you'll understand why. But this web version has another purpose. Like I said in the beginning, this session is about completely improving or transforming our habits. One was search. Stop doing regular search, do that search on top. and so on. Like that, web search is also an important part. So let me do a typical web search. I want to list all in a workbook using VBA. I'm just doing a regular search on Google, right? I'll get some results. Now, if I'd say list all workbooks, I will have got different results. Sometimes I'll get like this. Sometimes I'll get ads on top. Sometimes I'll get FAQs on top. And I may also get video snippets there. And the actual results start down below. And just because the result has come on top doesn't necessarily mean it is the best one. It is the one with best SEO. So all this jugglery we have been doing for decades. It's nothing about Google search versus Bing search. Search, web search is like that. There are going to be sponsored items, and there is searching in the search involved as well, which we got so used to it. Now is the time to change. When you want to look for anything on the web, remember this one is internal focus and this one is external focus. So if you're doing some research outside, let's say your specifications for your own product, and you want to check, has anyone in the world got some similar product and compare. Now, if I do that in ChatGPT, the security compliance boundary of your organization is violated. So do it here with that green button. Understood the concept? Yes, I could have done it in this Copilot as well. But this Copilot has some other capabilities which this one doesn't have. Multimodal is one, and second is image related. I will show you some examples. So bottom line, for all the core work I do, stay here. For an alternative or replacement to traditional web search, use this. So this is how I say it's complementary, not competition. While we are at it, let me show you some images. Image generation, I'm sure you have tried it. But here there are some other aspects of image generation which you may not have noticed, because many people directly go to DALL-E 3 or some other implementation. Many people don't know that this one has two aspects about images: generation and analysis. So now this is not a very comprehensive prompt, but as a demo, this is okay. There is a lot of talk about prompt engineering and so on, which is justified, but in simple terms, it means this: that Copilot or GenAI or ChatGPT, as I told you, has all knowledge about all topics, but it has zero knowledge about what you want. So if you don't inform that about what you want, then it is going to give you unsatisfactory or partial or not perfect kind of results. So here we have it. Now there's another product which is powered by DALL-E 3, which is Designer, which is currently in beta. This is also going to be a part of Office 365 very soon. And this is like Canva, but fully integrated into Microsoft ecosystem. So these are the things it created, and then you can edit it in Designer if you want. So this is the generation part. Probably you already tried your hand at it. But image analysis is something people have never tried as much as they should. And I go to lots of customers literally almost every day. And each industry is different. And usually what I do is, depending on the customer, I take an image of that particular customer relevant to them, and then use image analysis in front of them. Now, this is a mixed audience, so I'm going to show you some standard screenshots to save time. This is a bolt which is not going to open by standard technique because it has got one out. So what do? I take an image photo, upload the image to this public Copilot with protection, of course, and then look at the prompt. I have intentionally made it ambiguous. I did not say I cannot open this. I asked the system to understand what the problem is and give me the solution. That's a weird prompt, but it's smart enough to understand exactly what the problem is and what to do with it. And I have taken so many industry examples earlier. Every customer, every subject matter expert was genuinely and pleasantly surprised by the output. By the way, we have Pawan from Microsoft, whom I work very closely with, on the call. So Pawan, anything you want to add anytime, please pitch in. Next example, there is a hand-drawn circuit diagram. As of now, it will not tell you what the circuit is. Probably it will happen very soon, but I asked it to explain it, and it is at least telling me the individual components, what they are called, and it also understood their strengths. There's a chart I copy pasted. This is not the data, only the image of the chart I copy pasted, and it gives me this. So amazing stuff is available out of the box, and many people are absolutely underutilizing it. There's a pharmaceuticals example. What is this molecular structure? Even the file name is called a.png. I didn't want to give any input to the AI as to what it is. So it correctly tells me this is whatever it is, B12 cobalamin. So use it to your advantage. It's absolutely outstanding. That's all I would say at this stage. So image analysis, image creation are very good facilities, but there is a concern also about them. What is the concern? I create an image and then I use it somewhere, and then will someone sue me for that? Now, for decades, when we wanted PowerPoint slides to be created, we have been Googling it and putting. That time, nobody had that concern, but now with Copilot, we have concern. So Copilot images are generated. So I will address both the items. Even today, yes, Copilot is there and we can generate images, but even today, as we speak, when I need an illustration in my PPT or Word or whatever document, even today, people search them in public web and randomly pick up pictures. Please do not do that. Many of those free clip art websites may look very attractive, but they are phishing sites. And even if they are not, there may be copyright issues. So to avoid that, there are two things. One is something which has been built into Office 365 for years now, at least 10 years. When you go to insert picture, stock images, please go there if you have never gone in life. This has collection of 100,000, I think, or million plus images to my knowledge. Not just images, and every few weeks new items are added, so you can specifically look at what is new. Icons, some 7,000 icons, SVG icons, cut out people with background removed, with different poses, different ethnicities, different dress, stickers to add some fun element. Why no stickers? Because there is no sticker of this name. Lots of stickers. Amazing videos which optimize for putting as a background for PowerPoint. Very good resolution, but small size and loopable. Illustrations, which are again SVG, and ability to create your own cartoon characters. So you have different body parts and facial expressions. So amazing stuff available right within Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and on browser as well. This requires Office 365 version of Office. Remember, many people say, I don't have this, I don't see designer, because you don't have the Office 365 version. You have 16, 19, something like that. Now, those who are aware of this designer, this has been there for a long time. This logo changed yesterday. This is the new designer which I talked about, the AI enabled designer. So most probably some more features are coming to this designer as well. So copyright, whenever something is created, so this using existing stock images from Microsoft ecosystem will handle copyright issue, because these are officially allowed for you to use. And when you go to designer or Copilot, that also uses the same collection. So that way you are safe. But if you're actually generating images, then there is one important thing Microsoft has done to ensure and protect customers. That's called copyright commitment. So I'm again going to give you a QR code and I will paste the link. What does this mean? If you are using Copilot paid version, then whatever generation happens is protected by Microsoft. So if there is a litigation about whatever output you use from Copilot, and then that litigation will be handled by Microsoft. That's indemnity. So if you are and want to understand more detailed aspects of legality, go to the link and read it out. Did I paste the link here? Okay, so move on. Now that we have got all the FAQs and stuff like that out of the way, let's look at examples of some common things and some uncommon things as well. Creating documents is easy. I'm sure you have tried it always. But this is something which I wanted to show you. Many people don't know which type of files you can refer in which product. So for example, in Word, I'm going to create a Word document, but I want to refer to a PowerPoint presentation. That's okay. For example, I have a PowerPoint presentation which has goals for our company for this year. And then I have a proposal which has come to me for tying up with another agency as a partnership. Now, I want to make sure this partnership is aligned with our corporate goals. These are two different documents, could be one in SharePoint, one in OneDrive, doesn't matter. So I go to Word, click on the Copilot, and ask it, check if this is aligned with the goals. This kind of correlating scenarios, many people are not exploring. So this is a very good use of Copilot. Now in Word, you can refer to Word files as well as PowerPoint files. In PowerPoint, you can refer to PowerPoint and Word. But in there's a matrix actually. I don't remember if I published it. If not, I'll publish it over the weekend. So which kind of files are accepted as input in which app? So it will just be a matrix. Anyway, what it does is amazing. I didn't ask it to create a table. It did for each goal. It gave a rating based on the alignment, and it's explaining why it arrived at the rating. And then finally, it is giving me a text-based conclusion as well. And in case you are wondering how to do highlighter in Copilot, no, Copilot doesn't highlight. I did that. So this is how multiple kinds of files can be correlated. Another very common problem people are facing, and you should know this, as all of you must have realized, or if you haven't realized, realize it now. Copilot in Excel is not fully evolved yet. It is in beta. The new nowadays we call it preview. So if you go here, Copilot, you'll see preview. What does that mean? It is still in beta. It does certain things. What can it do? Create few things, edit, and so some analysis it'll do, calculated columns it'll do, conditional formatting. But as a power user, probably you will not be overwhelmed with it. So many people who want to do Excel based analysis are not very happy with the way Excel Copilot is as of today. All MVPs had a call of all Office and Excel MVPs recently, I think 2 days back with the team. They are working very extensively on it. But the idea is, why is Excel more complex than Word, PowerPoint, or email in creating or infusing Copilot in it? Because for Excel, you cannot guarantee anything. Data, people put the way they feel like. There is no standard. If I go to a file, there will be many sheets. In the sheet, there could be multiple scattered things. Some of it is random data. Some of it is raw data. Some of it is output. Some of it is interim. Some of it is interim last month. So it's absolutely unstructured, right? And one cell changing may have impact on 1,000 other cells due to formulas. So that's why implementing Copilot in a manner which billions of people can easily use is taking a little longer. Having said that, table kind of data, it still manages very well nowadays. And if I ask it to do data insights, now this is what I'm doing, raw data, I'm asking it to do some insights. And then whatever it does, it may not be very nice. Now there are so many columns. I didn't ask for a specific insight, so it's just generally looking at correlations across columns and trying to come up with something. But what it'll come up with, I have no control. I could have asked a specific question, but still, it's not great. So one of the other things we should do, and you should know this, especially those who are trying to analyze Excel data, is you need not analyze Excel data in Excel. Copilot is universal, isn't it? So here is another example of this. So I'm going to, this is a balance sheet. There is not a table, so Excel Copilot is not going to analyze this. There are subtotals, blank cells, hierarchy. This is not the kind of data Excel Copilot can handle right now. So I copied it, pasted it in Word, prompt itself, I pasted it, and then said, create a document by analyzing this balance sheet. Yes, some people may have noticed that there is a spelling mistake. That's a common worry. Please don't worry when you're doing spelling mistakes in Copilot. Copilot means ChatGPT. It knows all the words in all the languages. So small spelling mistakes doesn't deter it. Now, just by clicking on this button, it gave me a file. This is a screenshot, but I have saved the file to show you. The output of this was this. Not this. Hold on. It did. I didn't say anything other than that prompt. And what did it do? It said, okay, I'm going to do analysis based on this. And then it went ahead for each of these items. It created a section, formatted it properly. And my data, there was only raw data. It created the ratios. I certainly did not have ratios in that Excel file. And then it is explaining what that ratio basically means, then my data, and then interpretation of my ratios. All this it did as one prompt. And so trend analysis or forecasting, those kind of things, or comparing two things. Many people ask me, two Excel sheets I want to compare. Copy paste that data here. It is very smart to figure out things. In fact, let me show you how smart the overall Copilot ecosystem is by taking an even more complex example. What I'm talking about here is 5 files being managed. So here I have a JD and this is a separate document. Then I got some CVs. So now I want to see who is suitable. So I go to, where do I go to? I have one JD and lots of CVs. So I want to go to the tool in Copilot, which allows me to have maximum file references. They remember 5 files in chat. So I went there. So I said, use this JD / and JD, compare this resume. So I chose one. Like that, I chose / 4 times. So now I'm referring to 5 files. Now, because it's a complex scenario, it's important to give what do you expect out of it. So I said, create a comparison table and give a rating based on the match. That's it. And this is the output. Also notice next to the name, it has given a citation or a reference 1, 2, 3, 4. What does that mean? If I click on it, it'll open that document. I don't have to fiddle around and find it. So what columns to put in the table, it decided on its own. And then it has also given a rating based on some system it internally involved. It's also giving me further follow-up questions. And at the bottom, it is overall conclusion also it has given me. So this is how we can use it. Now someone will ask, I have 8 resumes. Then do 4 first. Now the prompt is still open. So now you can put 5 more and ask it to make a combined table. It will do it. Now if you say I have 100 resumes, I want to do it. Now that's another kind of thing. Copilot is not automation. Copilot is helping you. So if you have larger scale things, then I have 100 documents, 100 HR policies, then you have to use Azure OpenAI and create your own system based on that. So if you have 1,000 resumes to manage, this is not going to be the solution. And this, many people mistake it as only an HR example. No, this demo was given by taking an example which applies to HR, but just open your mind one level up. What was I doing? Comparing one base document with comparable documents. So it could be RFP and response to RFP. Could be a specification and your document which should be meeting that specification. It could be a regulation and your report. All of those are the scenarios. All right, let's move on. Like that, every product has Copilot infused in it. So some other examples I'll give you. Email drafting, probably the commonest people use. So I'm not going to show it per se. Everyone must have tried it. Email, as of now, you can't refer to files, but I'm sure that will come soon. The other aspect of email is summarizing long mails. It's on mobile as well. So if you have a mail on the top, you will always see summarized by Copilot. When would you want to summarize? When you have not gone through the mail trail while it was happening, and now you are expected to do something about it. So Copilot will do a beautiful summary. But then what are you going to do after reading the summary? Many people look at the summary, then they say reply. So if you intend to reply, there is another shortcut. Don't say summarize, just say reply. Now what does it do? It anyway summarizes, thinks on its own and say, based on whatever has been happening, this, what is possible? Then it'll automatically evolve some potential action items for you because you said reply, and it'll give you a list of those action items. So this was a dispute going on between two airlines. They are not giving refund for some ticket. So this is the summary of that dispute which is going on. But if I directly clicked on the reply button, it just gave me demand refund, which is not working anyway, escalate to the other airline involved, or file consumer complaint. This came out of the box with no prompting whatsoever. And then I chose the file consumer complaint. It created that also for me. So do you understand? It is very versatile. It is open. It has no constraints. It is like having 1,000 levels of expertise in all fields. So that is how it makes your life better. But then there is a concern. With all this AI, is it competing with me? So think, so many demos I have shown you. Do you think at any point of time, if you use this in your day-to-day work, is it threatening your job? Really? Most all of these cases, it's not threatening your job. It's not competing with you. It's empowering you. So that myth about AI taking away jobs is good for PR and more eyeballs. But in reality, you're seeing it in action. So, and if there are some leadership team people here, another common misguided thought I see in leaderships across the world is, oh, this is great, this is time saving, so we'll buy Copilot or Microsoft 365 XYZ technology, and then we'll remove some people. Please don't think on those lines. The default knee-jerk reaction should not be retrenching people. Why? Because this is saving time of those people who have a brain. Earlier, they were doing some mundane manual work and you are paying them for using hands. Now, their hands are freed, brains are actually available. Use their domain knowledge and use their brains rather than retrenching them. That way, you will be able to have the same number of people in the team, but have bigger targets or achieve more results. That's how you drive growth. Now, the other concern about all this AI is it dumbing me down? So let's see some examples of that. One is, of course, coaching. Means I am a subject matter expert. I don't need Copilot to write a mail for me. I've already written it. So I'm going to show you that scenario. But in order for you to understand that, I have to digress a little. So this is a Teams call. All of us are on a Teams call, right? I'm also on another Teams call parallelly. No, I'm not attending two meetings together. But why am I on this call? Because I wanted to show you how to use Teams Copilot. So this is a meeting which is going on, and this is Copilot in the meeting going on. Now I went to the meeting and agenda is visible. So one of the things you must all do, which is not Copilot, but it will transform your meetings, is whenever you create a meeting, please go to Out. Yes, you may create the meeting in Outlook, that's okay. But immediately after that, go to the meeting in Teams. And in the Teams meeting, it will sync all the details. But there is an extra feature here called meeting notes. This allows you to add an agenda, which is much better than the agenda added in Outlook by the organizer. If you add agenda here, this agenda is all invitees can edit it. So without sending a mail to negotiate the agenda, no mail trail, agenda is finalized. Collaborative editing. So during the meeting, you can take notes and action items also. But before the meeting, as soon as you organize, at least put the agenda. And while we are at it, let's see what happens in the meeting itself. So this is a new change, not Copilot per se, but meeting transformation. I'm going to discard this because the meeting is already on. So in the meeting, if I join late, what do? Instead of disturbing everyone, I can use Copilot. But for Copilot, I need transcription. Now, many people are worried about transcription, security regulation, something like that. If that is the concern, then you're not going to get full capability of Copilot. I want both. Very good question. It is possible. So you can have a Copilot only transcription. That means Copilot needs the transcription to summarize your meeting and create formal minutes of meeting. So let it be enabled, but after that is done, the transcript can be deleted. And that's another misconception about what happens to Teams chats, channels, meetings, all the data. So I would say it should have the same retention policy as your emails. But some people are worried about chats being kept for too long. For some customers, 30 days is too long. Then you can go to retention policy and make it 1 day. There is no problem. Everything is controllable and customizable based on your needs. Now this Copilot is in the meeting and I can ask it what happened so far. This meeting has two people, assistant and Nitin. Here is the assistant who has also joined the same meeting. Now, everyone who joins can see the agenda, they can change the agenda, they can take notes. These are shared notes and everyone can see and edit everything. That's very important to understand. It may sound a little weird because you have never had this facility, but this is transforming your meetings because everything about the meeting is a part of the meeting. And action items can be given while you are in the meeting. So everyone is clear about what is decided, discussed, and actions. So let's say, what would I say? Learn M365 is the, and then I'm going to give @ mention people in the meeting as well as people outside the meeting are allowed. If the person is not a part of the meeting, it will say you'll need to give permission, and that I will do easily from here, and then it will happen. I'm not the organizer, that's why it is not doing that. Let me do it from the other place. Bottom line, what I'm trying to tell you is everything about the meeting happening inside the meeting, and because of that, what is happening here? Because of that, no mails are going to go about your meetings. So meetings without emails is transformation. So I'll add one more task, demo task. Today is 28th. And what is the time? 12 p.m. And give it to someone else. So task list is a part of it. Now, obviously, this question is going to come. What if this was a recurring meeting? The task list notes and agenda will carry forward across recurrences. Now, if someone comes late, that person disturbs the whole meeting. So instead of disturbing everyone, you can go to Copilot and ask whatever it is, what has been happening so far. By the way, it understands all languages. So I'm asking in Hindi, what has happened so far? It doesn't say I don't understand the language. It absolutely does. By the way, remember, in every place where there is Copilot, this button is there. And then the options may be a little different. Earlier, we have seen this. So eyeball this, eyeball this. That will give you a good idea about where to start off. So notice I asked in English, it is replying to me in English. So that is the finesse which is available. Now, another aspect of Copilot during the meeting is this Copilot only for people who join late? No. As an organizer, I can ask different question. What was the agenda and has it been met with? Are there any items which are still not agreed upon? Where is the dispute? Where is the consensus? Or if you joined late or you were there full time, but maybe you're not active in the meeting, but now you want to see what questions are yet unanswered or what questions can I ask which have not been addressed first. So every person in the meeting potentially could be having their private conversation with this. And that's how the same meeting, same amount of time spent, but the productivity of the meeting outcomes and execution speed will be much higher. Now, before I leave this, I'm going to show you one more thing. And then one of the least understood used features is Whiteboard. It's an amazing tool with or without Copilot. So go to new Whiteboard. Why do we do whiteboarding? You know when to use whiteboarding. No, trust me, even if you do it for years, you don't know all the use cases of when to use whiteboard. That's why you should go to the templates first, eyeball all of them. So project planning, anonymous voting is one technique used worldwide. Daily stand-up probably you know. Goal setting you know. Kanban you know. Product backlog funnel. So just eyeball them. Something sounds interesting, I don't know. Just click on it. It'll give you a one-line description and that'll help you. So let's say this is an ideation meeting and I'm not getting ideas. Initially, people are a little reserved. So Copilot is there and say, and then it'll give you ideas. You can iterate on them. And then whatever you like, you ask it to insert. Now that brings us to another thing. If I had asked this question in Word, it would have created a document or a table. In PowerPoint, it would have created a slide for each. Because this is whiteboard, it understands what is the ideal format. It's a notes grid. And now it gives me a sticky note grid. So depending on the output you want, be in the right product while using Copilot. That's another common mistake I'm seeing. Now I want people in the meeting to vote for these. That's why there is a voting button here. And people can vote and I can actually count the votes. So how do I do that? Go to this sprocket wheel here. Do you decide as a presenter when do you want interaction and enable this? So that's how Copilot available here as well. And finally, during the meeting, when meeting is over, what happens? Meeting is over. I need to know my tasks. Yes. Then what will I do? What will I do? I'll go to the meeting, double click. I will see tasks. Okay. But I attend 100 meetings in a month. Am I going to double click? No. So that's where another tool comes into picture, which is To Do app. So To Do app is part of Office 365. So it's available as an app, available on browser as well, and it is also available as a part of as a part of as a part of. Just give me a second. Yeah. So I wanted to show that To Do app. Yeah, browser, mobile, and it is also available as a part of Outlook nowadays. New Outlook. If you don't like the new Outlook because it's still evolving, use old Outlook. But many people have the complaint that old Outlook doesn't have Copilot features. That is not the case. Copilot is very much available in the old version of Outlook as well. You're not seeing it because your Outlook, the desktop app is not updated. So please update it. And if there are any IT people here, change the refresh frequency of Office desktop from 6 months to 1 month. Because it's not just new features, it's also security improvement every month. So this is the To Do app. So I got a task in a meeting. I go to assign to me, and this is the task which came in the meeting. Yeah, whatever the meeting was. Yeah, demo task 28 12 p.m. And now I can see it right here. So this is an aggregator of tasks. The task list which I added in Teams can also be added in chat and also can be added in email and Word. So task list delegation, this is the way to do it. So bottom line, this transforms your meeting, and with Copilot, you get additional benefits like a meeting recap. And in meeting recap, what will you get? Beyond just the video and the transcript. It uses the transcript and notes to create formal minutes of meeting. This is absolutely manual work as of today. It will also give you a chart of how many people spoke, how much they spoke as a bar chart here. And it will also automatically generate a list of topics, which may or may not be same as agenda. Actually, what happened, and give you a stacked bar chart. How long was which topic discussed for? And on top of it, if you didn't attend the meeting, you can come here and ask questions to Copilot post facto. So it's really empowering, whether it is during or after, for different scenarios. I am asking a very different question after this. What was the meeting? What did the customer want? And did I deliver it? It could have given a yes no answer, but no, it's actually going through all the content available to it and giving me a more precise answer. So that is how Teams also gets completely revamped in terms of the meeting experience using Copilot. And lastly, I want to talk about adoption. Many people are buying licenses, but they are not fully utilizing it. Why does that happen? For various reasons. One is, how do you allocate license and whom do you allocate license to? Very often I see only few seniors and IT people get it. That may be true, but even if you're doing that, give it to a vertical, give it to a division, give it, because Copilot, as you are realizing, is beneficial for everyone. Everyone's tasks, some tasks, different tasks for boss, different tasks for subordinate, maybe, but everyone is working on Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams every day for hours. Within that, at least 1 hour can be saved very easily. But what activity each person will decide. But for that Copilot license allocation to have a significant and visible impact, if you scatter the licenses, you're getting benefit in pockets, and those pockets are not connected from a business activity chain point of view. So Allocate licenses with some logic, cohesiveness. So maybe one business activity, one unit, one department, whatever. You know your business better, but don't just scatter them around. All right. And from an adoption point of view, just giving licenses is not going to work. Form a team of people. It doesn't matter whether 2 people or 20 people, depends on the organization size. But what is absolutely necessary is to understand that proactive, iterative exploration is required to understand capabilities of Copilot. Second, you have to apply it to your business context. And then you put two and two together and standardize the business context usage. What does that mean? Create sort of SOPs. So you can't leave every user to do trial and error. Then you're wasting everyone's time. So centralize trial and error, find the application, convert it to a best practice, and then disseminate it to all users. That's the process which works. So this is an iterative process, and the more you do it, more benefits you're going to get. So last thing I want to talk about is how do you quantify the benefits? So every action you do, you'll get some benefits. So what do? When you got a benefit, recap emails. Yes. Now I think every time I do it, how much time will be saved? 10 minutes. But the intangible benefit also needs to be quantified. My effective communication is there. So 5 minutes. Like that for summarized documents, 15 minutes saved plus imbibition is better, actions are better. 10 minutes intangible. How many users are going to use it? In a month, how many times they're going to use it? And then how much time is saved? And then you can get total time saved in a monthly basis. Then you do the cost benefit analysis. It's a very simple calculator. Now, finally, let me come and then I'll finish and then take questions. And of course, Pawan can also add some comments. Why did I say this? Because the biggest underutilization of Copilot is happening because people buy Copilot and they give it to different users. And each user has some domain, HR, finance, marketing, engineering, CEO, whatever. And they use Copilot in the context of their domain. That is a problem. Why? Why is it a problem? Because you're only using it in your domain. That is the problem. As we have seen, Copilot has no restriction of domain expertise. You have. So use Copilot to expand your horizon. Of course, you will use it in your own domain and your own departmental or job role context. But if you just use Copilot for that, that is infinitely underutilizing it. If you are HR and you need, of course, you need to know cross-functional. But usually, if I need a finance thing to be answered, I send a mail or talk to chat. Do that with Copilot. So do cross-functional things. Many of us think I don't have these skills. So many people who are in creative field don't understand maths. Ask Copilot maths questions in the context of your work, of course, and then it will actually expand your horizon. That's what I mean. Use Copilot to expand and exploit your full potential, which probably all of you already know. Thank you for joining and hope to see you soon in another event. Take care. Bye bye.